Not now. I'm exhausted. Stop pressuring me. She said it loud enough for the waitress to hear. We were sitting in a small Italian place in Newark, the kind with tight tables and mirrors on the walls. I had just reached across the table and touched her wrist. Nothing dramatic. Just a husband trying to feel something real. Emily didn't pull her hand away gently. She snapped it back like I had burned her. The waitress froze for half a second, pretending not to listen. A couple at the next table glanced over. Emily rolled her eyes and picked up her phone, scrolling like I wasn't there. She said she had an early shift at the cosmetics store. Said she was drained. Said her new personal trainer had her on an intense program and her body needed recovery. Her new trainer. Ryan. I had heard that name more in the last few weeks than my own. She leaned back in her chair, texting under the table. A faint smile touched her lips, not meant for me. I watched the reflection in the mirror behind her. She didn't know I could see the screen light up again and again. Ryan. Proud of you today. Ryan. You looked incredible. I paid the check. She didn't thank me. When we stepped outside, she said she was heading to the gym just to stretch. She kissed the air near my cheek and walked toward her car without looking back. I stood on the sidewalk in my Path uniform jacket, watching her taillights disappear. That was the night I stopped reaching across tables. The first time I heard his voice, it was through our bedroom door. Emily was in the bathroom, door locked, shower running. She was laughing. Not the polite laugh she used with customers at the store. This one was low and soft. I stood in the hallway holding my phone, still in my work boots from the late shift. I was supposed to be asleep. Instead, I heard her say his name. Ryan. She told him. He pushed her harder than anyone ever had. Said she loved how disciplined he was. Said she felt alive again. Alive again. When she came out wrapped in a towel, she saw me sitting on the edge of the bed. She didn't flinch. She didn't apologize. She said Ryan was helping her with nutrition plans and mindset. Said I would not understand because I worked nights and lived on coffee. She told me I was overthinking. The next evening, one of the guys from the depot, Marcus, nudged me in the break room. He asked if my wife trained in Jersey City now. He had seen her at a high-rise building near the waterfront while picking up his cousin. Said she walked in with a tall guy in gym clothes. I said she had clients there. Marcus just looked at me for a second too long. That was when it shifted. I stopped asking questions. I started paying attention. Pay attention changes the way a house sounds. The fridge hum gets louder. Floorboards talk more. Phone notifications start echoing through rooms. Emily stopped leaving her phone face up. She began carrying it everywhere, even to grab laundry from the hallway. At night, the glow from the screen would flicker under the blankets long after she thought I was asleep. I did not confront her. I did not ask for passwords. I did not scroll through her messages. I watched the systems around us instead. Our joint account began breathing differently. Small withdrawals at first, then recurring payments labeled wellness package, advanced nutrition coaching, private sessions. The amounts did not match gym memberships. They matched rent. One evening she posted a gym mirror selfie. I saw it while sitting in the driver's seat during a break between routes. Behind her reflection was a window wall with a skyline view I recognized from the Jersey City waterfront. Later that night, she said she had stayed late at the store for inventory. Her gym bag still smelled like someone else's cologne. I stopped asking where she had been. I started moving money quietly. A small transfer here, another there. Nothing dramatic. Nothing loud. One morning, she complained the grocery budget felt tighter. Said inflation was getting ridiculous. I nodded and poured coffee. That was the week she stopped touching me completely. The notification came in while I was on a platform break, leaning against a steel column, watching commuters rush past. Cash App request, $500. Her name. A small heart emoji next to it. The note read, "Need it for something important." For weeks, she had turned her back to me in our own bed. For weeks, the answer had been the same. She was tired, sore, overwhelmed. For weeks, I had stopped reaching for her. Now she was reaching for my wallet. I opened her social media. A few hours earlier, she had posted a story. Gym mirror, flushed cheeks, that same skyline in the background. Jersey City again. The caption said grinding. I zoomed in. Same window. Same building Marcus mentioned. I did not text her. I did not ask what the money was for. I tapped pay. $500 sent. In the comment line, I typed one word. Enough. Then I went into our banking app and redirected my paycheck to a new account I had opened quietly 2 days before. I paused the auto pay for her streaming subscriptions. I changed the PIN to our joint app access. I packed a duffel bag from my locker at the depot and called about a small room for rent a few blocks away. By evening, she tried her card at a gas station. It declined. My phone started ringing. I let it ring once, then twice. Then I answered. She did not start with hello. She asked if I was serious. I could hear traffic in the background and the sharp edge in her breathing. She said her card kept declining. Said she was at a gas station and it was embarrassing. Said the app would not let her transfer anything. I leaned back on the narrow bed in the rented room near the depot, staring at a ceiling with a water stain shaped like a continent. I told her I stopped funding what I was not part of. There was a pause. Then she said I was being dramatic. Said the $500 was for a certification deposit Ryan recommended. Said it would help her career. Said I should support her growth instead of sabotaging it. Ryan's name came out fast, like she forgot to filter it. I did not raise my voice. I did not argue details. I told her my paycheck was going to a separate account from now on. Bills connected to my name would be covered. Everything else was hers to handle. She asked where I was. I told her I was close to work. That was not a lie. She said we needed to talk face to face. Said this was not how adults handled things. I told her I agreed. Then I hung up. An hour later, Marcus texted me a screenshot of a fitness trainer's business page. Ryan had posted something vague about jealous husbands. I read it once. Then I started digging. Digging does not require noise. It requires patience. Ryan was not hard to find. Public business profile. Tag clients. Motivational captions about discipline and loyalty. A rented apartment in Jersey City he called a private studio. Reviews from women who said he changed their lives. Marcus had a cousin who worked maintenance in that same high-rise. He confirmed Ryan leased a small unit month to month. Cash heavy. No long-term contract. I did not contact Ryan. I did not threaten him. I forwarded a few public records to the building management email listed on their website. A note about unlicensed commercial activity in a residential unit. No name attached. Just information. A few days later, Ryan posted a story about haters trying to block success. The next one was gone within hours. Emily texted me that evening asking if I had done something. She said the building suddenly required documentation for any business use. She said Ryan was stressed. I told her I had been at work, which was true. The following week, his posts slowed. No more skyline selfies. No more private sessions. At the depot, Marcus mentioned hearing that some tenants complained about traffic in the building. Emily came home one evening earlier than usual. No gym bag. No glow on her face. She walked into the kitchen and looked around like the air had changed. It had. I was already gone from it. She started calling more often. Not to apologize. Not to explain. To check where I was. If I did not answer, she would text that we needed to fix this before it got out of control. She said her mother had asked why I was not at Sunday dinner. She said her coworker Jenna noticed she looked stressed. She said people were starting to ask questions. I stayed near the depot most nights. Small room. Clean sheets. No arguments. No cold shoulders across a mattress. One afternoon, I stopped by the house while she was at work. I collected a few more things. Tools. A watch my father gave me. Documents from the filing cabinet. On the kitchen counter, there was a protein shaker cup I had never seen before. Black. His brand printed on the side. I washed it, dried it, and left it exactly where it had been. That evening, she sent me a long message saying Ryan was just a trainer. Said the apartment was temporary for client privacy. Said she never meant for things to get complicated. I did not respond. Later, Marcus told me he heard the high-rise was cracking down hard. Some tenants had moved out. He said people were talking about the trainer who thought he was untouchable. Emily called again, voice softer this time. She asked if I was coming home. I told her I was already somewhere I could breathe. She showed up at the depot one evening. I saw her before she saw me. She was standing near the entrance gate, dressed like she was heading to work, not to beg. Hair done. Makeup careful. The same look she used in her mirror selfies. When she noticed me walking toward the parking lot, her shoulders tightened. She said we needed to talk somewhere private. I told her we were already in public. She followed me to the side of the building where the noise from the tracks covered most of our words. She said things had gotten out of hand. Said Ryan's lease was being questioned. Said clients were canceling. Said people were making assumptions about her. She never said she was sorry. She said I had embarrassed her by cutting off access without warning. Said real partners communicated. I listened without interrupting. When she finished, I told her I had communicated. I sent $500 in one word. She stared at me like she expected something more dramatic. A lecture. An accusation. A breakdown. I did not give her any of that. She asked if there was someone else. Asked if that was why I seemed so calm. I told her no. Then I told her I was no longer available to be used as a backup plan. A train roared past us, shaking the fence. When it quieted, she looked smaller. For the first time, she did not know what to say. The collapse did not happen in one dramatic moment. It unfolded quietly. Ryan's page went private. Then it disappeared. A week later, Marcus mentioned hearing that building management had terminated a short-term lease for unauthorized business activity. No details, just facts. Emily's social media shifted too. No more gym mirrors. No more waterfront backdrops. Just filtered quotes about reset and growth. At the cosmetics store, Jenna stopped commenting on her posts. Emily told me that sales had dipped and her manager had pulled her aside about professional image. She said customers talk. One afternoon, she called and did not try to argue. She said she had covered the rent with her commission, but it barely went through. She said the car insurance payment bounced because I was no longer auto-funding the joint account. She did not accuse me. She sounded tired. I was on a break, sitting alone in the cab, watching the tracks stretch forward in 2 straight lines. I did not rush to fix anything. That evening, I drove past the house. The lights were on in only one room. Through the window, I saw her sitting at the kitchen table, phone in her hand, staring at the screen like she was waiting for it to solve something. It did not. For the first time, she looked like someone without a safety net, and I was no longer standing underneath her. She asked to meet one last time. Not at the depot. Not at the house. A quiet coffee shop near the river. When I walked in, she was already there. No makeup this time, hair tied back. No performance. No audience. She did not start with explanations. She said she thought attention was the same as affection. She said she confused intensity with loyalty. She said when I stopped reacting, she realized she had been measuring my silence wrong. I listened. She said Ryan stopped answering once the building issues started. Said the private studio was just a lease he could not afford without clients. Said she felt foolish for believing she was special. I did not comment. She asked if this was the end. I told her I did not disappear. I just stopped showing up where I was not respected. The words did not land like anger. They landed like a closed door. I told her I had moved my finances, my time, and my energy. If there was going to be any future, it would not look like the past. No shared accounts without shared transparency. No outside coaches funded by me. No blurred lines. She nodded slowly. I stood up first. She did not reach for my hand this time. When I stepped outside, the air felt steady. For the first time in weeks, so did I?